Now it's time for Perspective, and my guest on the programme today straddles two, well, incredibly different spheres. First and foremost, Bella Freud is a fashion designer who began by working with the late, great Vivienne Westwood in the 1980s. At the same time, she also has her own podcast where she invites a special guest, often but not always from the fashion world, to lie on the couch and explore the connections between fashion and identity. A podcast coming perhaps from her family. She's the daughter of the painter Lucian Freud, great-granddaughter of Sigmund Freud, the founder, of course, of psychoanalysis. Her podcast is called Fashion Neurosis, and she joins us now from London. Great to have you with us on the programme. I mean, tell me, am I right? Do you think that sort of family trait is what's inspired you to do the podcast in the way you've done it?
Well, I suppose it's in the background, but what's inspired me really is the stories in fashion and how much more interesting they are than you see in the media in general. Everything is quite repetitive and narrow, and working in the fashion industry, I know how amazing people are and how hard they work and how hilarious and brilliant, and also their capacity for overcoming huge obstacles. It's a really hard business, and it's also hard to make something of a huge amount of beauty, and the amount of energy and sort of imagination and genius that goes into realizing something. That's what drove me. I wanted to tell those stories and all the jokes within it and the codes and the language, and
I'm sure you achieved it as well. I mean, looking at the list of some of the people you've had on, I mean, Debbie Harry, Helena Bonham Carter, John Malkovich, Courtney, Cate Blanchett, and a load of fashion superstars as well. I mean, how do you manage to attract them to come and sit on the couch with you, as it were?
Well, I suppose it's partly learning. In fashion, you just have to go after something. You become obsessed with it and find a way to make it happen, and also treating people with interest and respect and kind of, amusement as well. I hope that's been part of the appeal. I mean, I'm really everyone is so interesting. There's loads of stuff to show. So I hope people have responded because of that.
Tell me who some of your favourite guests have been and why.
Well, my first guest was the designer Rick Owens, and he's like a talisman of, he felt like good luck walked through the door. I opened the door and there was this very tall angel clad in black with long dark hair and very friendly. And what I love about some people in fashion is they look quite intimidating, but they're so charming and endearing, and is part of the excitement. And I've been figuring out how to do this thing for some time, and he consolidated it and he made it real, really. So he's still my favourite guest.
And it can get pretty personal, can't it, sometimes? I mean, how do you get people to open up? Because let's face it, I mean, they may know you a little bit, but you might not be their best friend, and they know it's being recorded. So how do you manage to get them to really talk about their lives and their feelings, I suppose?
Well, I don't try and get anything out of anyone. I work very hard on the questions so that I feel in their lives, and I hope that I ask questions that make someone want to say things or reveal things. I'm not trying for that. I hope I'm creating some sort of ambience between both of us, and sometimes I find myself saying things that I had no intention of saying. So it's not a setup for somebody else. It's a kind of mutual thing.
So tell me some of the areas that you like to cover. I mean, you say you work on the questions. I mean, presumably some of them can be quite similar that you might ask all the people you have on. Others are much more tailored, perhaps?
Yeah, I always ask what I call the what you have for breakfast question, which is why did you choose what you're wearing today? Because I wanted to start with a question that takes people out of their self-consciousness. And then, so if you think about something specific, it relaxes you. And then I always ask somebody, if you fancy someone and don't like what they're wearing, does it kill your attraction? Because it's quite funny and it's interesting.
I mean, they're crucial. They're good
And
questions,
then,
aren't they? Because they're
yeah,
questions that are sort of everyday questions. But at the same time, from that
yeah,
response, you can really kind of start to judge what somebody is like a little bit.
yeah. I suppose it's a bit playful, and it's also potential for, just showing a chink of what you are within, how you operate. And that's always, it's fun, really.
And where does the fashion link in with it? And you mentioned Rick Owens. I mean, he's obviously a fashion
Mm,
icon. So with him, it's obvious. But with some of
mm.
the other characters and personalities that you're talking with, sometimes it's a little bit more different, I suppose.
Well, I think I had this idea that everyone is more interested in clothes than they might even think. And so I think most people have some association of a moment in their life, and clothes is just a way in. I mean, it can be food, it can be music, but because clothes is fashion is my kitchen, that's my way in, and it's a way of sometimes to go straight ahead, you go around, and I suppose that's what I'm exploring with the clothes, and it's so peculiar that people do tend to remember a moment and what they were wearing and why those clothes were significant, especially in childhood.
Tempted to ask you what you're wearing today, and also about whether, if you see someone that's wearing clothes that perhaps aren't your style, would that put you off?
Well, it's interesting. It's sometimes it does, and sometimes it's appealing, and then sometimes you realize this is terrible, and you find ways to override it. And looking back, you can kind of figure out, you know, why didn't you take the message and run a mile? Why did you kind of go forward in spite of yourself? And it's not like good clothes are the right thing. Bad clothes are also fantastic. It just depends on, it's like smell. It's like something gives you pause for thought. Something is a moment of hesitation, and it depends how obsessed you are, I suppose.
Summing it up perfectly. Bella Freud, thank you very much for being with us on the programme today. Bella's podcast then is called Fashion Neurosis. I'm sure you'll find it online if you want to find out more. I'm tempted to ask you about breakfast, but I know it's only 8:45 in the morning there in the UK and you might not have had any yet. But Bella Freud, thanks very much for being with us on the programme today for today's
Thank
perspective.
you.